folks. Thanks for joining me. My name is Kat Lyacone, and I wanted to share some insight on things I've learned about healthy boundaries and sharing some information that I think would be helpful for you to know. Now, I think most of us have heard about healthy boundaries, right? I wanted to do a little bit of research to go, exactly what are boundaries? Now we have city and state boundaries, state and countries, they have their borders. This is very similar, but these are invisible boundaries. Those are boundaries or things that we are comfortable with, things that we're okay with, right? So one of them is physical boundaries. And I think we experienced a lot of this during the COVID time with 6 feet apart, became very aware of how much 6 feet was in order to maintain that distance. It also can be someone just coming a little too close into your personal space that makes you feel a little bit uneasy. That's showing that it's coming into your boundary. Or certainly anyone that's putting their hands on you or touching you that you don't want. That's invading your personal boundary, your space. Something else that's related to invisible boundaries is emotional. So it's emotional boundaries that we have that we feel comfortable with on decisions we make, on how we view things, things that we will do and things that we won't do. So that's more emotional boundaries. Now, what I realize is we all have boundaries, whether intentional or unintentional. Whether it is, let's say someone knocks on your door, a friend, and says, "Hi, I'm going to go rob a bank tomorrow and I want to know if you want to come with me." I'm pretty sure most of you would say, "No, absolutely not," right? Because that's a boundary. That's a hard boundary. That's something that you feel convicted about, that you're sure about, and you won't cross that line, right? So people have to navigate that. And then another form of a boundary would be someone asking you, on a smaller scale, someone asking you to go to an event, and you really don't want to go to the event. This happened to me recently where someone really wanted me to go to an event, and I had gone to one previously, kind of with the hopes it would turn out better. So going to another one that was very similar, I knew really wasn't going to be worthwhile for me, and not really worth the energy and time to go into. So instead of going to the event, right, and then feeling, why am I here? I think we've all done this, right? Why am I here? I shouldn't have come. I knew better, but I wanted to please my friend and I wanted to make her happy. And there's always compromises in these relationships like this. But I knew in my heart that I really didn't want to go. And by going, I would regret it for most of the evening, as opposed to just having maybe a few seconds of an awkward encounter to be honest with someone to go, "Listen, I would really like to go. However, I really just can't this time." You know, there's always, I think, a nice way to say no to someone, but we should be able to say no when it's appropriate. So, with that said, there's healthy boundaries versus unhealthy boundaries. So, as we just talked about a little bit before, no is a healthy boundary. Again, it needs to be done in a respectful way, and we have to be careful with boundaries because we don't want to isolate ourselves either. We want to have good relationship with ourselves, right, and with other people, and that means sometimes, you know, making those compromises. But generally, like the event that I spoke about, I had already been to one before. I knew kind of the experience. I knew it wasn't going to be worthwhile for my time, and I was not going to enjoy myself. My attendance was not required. There weren't a lot of people counting on me. And that was just really to accompany one person going to this event. So I knew in my heart, I can't do it. Another case is my husband. He doesn't like fish. So when I cook dinner, I know that I'm not going to make him a nice piece of salmon like myself. I'm going to make him something different. He's sampled a couple things and really just, that's not his thing. And I respect him. You know why? He was honest with me and said, "Honey, I love you. I'm just not going to eat fish." You know, so there it was. It was a nice way he said it. And in actuality, I would only want him to eat a food that he really enjoyed, right? That he liked having, because I love him and respect him. So it's kind of that mutual boundary back and forth. Unhealthy boundaries. Again, maybe your friends are asking you out to go to an event, or maybe go to a restaurant and you're gluten-free or you have some dietary restrictions and they're pushing you to go. and and you're looking at the menu knowing that if you go, you're going to have anxiety about what do I have to eat? What am I going to eat that's not going to make me feel ill or have maybe a reaction to it? And even if it's just extra calories, or something, but that's taking you out of your comfort zone of what you feel comfortable with. Now, it's not to say that you can't join them for another restaurant at another time. So always you can say, maybe not this time, or I can't make it this time. Let me know the next time you're going to another restaurant and I'll see if I can join you then. So there are some ways that you can be sensitive to other people's feelings at the same time with being true to yourself. So then we have identifying your own boundaries with yourself and others. So I think that takes a little time, right? You have to look at the things that are important to you and what you value and what you want to spend time with, right? So again, if people unintentionally, right, can take up a lot of our time, either with conversations or things they'd like us to do or whatever the case may be. And I think it's important and also our responsibility to take care of ourselves and to invest in ourselves. Because when we have healthy boundaries in place, doing what we believe is right for us, then that actually improves our relationship with others. Putting ourselves first sometimes is difficult to do. A lot of us are caregivers or just givers in general, and it's very easy to get caught up as you're helping other people, especially when they appreciate it, they're saying thank you, and there is a time and place for that. However, I have also noticed that I've depleted myself in the day and didn't give back to myself and spend a little time, whether it's exercise or preparing that healthy meal so that I have it available later, or going to the grocery store to pick up good snacks. If I don't take that effort, then I myself am going to be depleted, which means I can't give to others. So by preparing boundaries and establishing them and letting people know my honest truth in a kind way, what I'm comfortable with doing, what I'm comfortable with not doing, really does help. So, what are the amazing benefits to creating healthy boundaries and how you can start today? Well, I say the first one is kind of analyze what you really like to do. Note maybe in the next week or two, what are some things that aren't serving you? Perhaps what are some things that maybe if you just did a little bit less of or added some more good stuff, how that would in turn make you feel. So by starting today, I'm thinking maybe you can do just one small step. And it's something as simple as instead of eating 3 cookies tonight after dinner, you have 2. Maybe it's waking up the first time the alarm goes off instead of hitting the snooze button. Maybe it is going for that 10-minute walk that you desperately need. Or enjoying that beautiful fresh air outside, even just for a few moments. So it's important that we take these steps so that we can create boundaries, allow others to come into our lives in a healthy way, all the while being true to ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. If you can, please, thank you for liking this video and providing me your comments. Thank you.